Okay, so when it comes to allergies, I think it's worth noting that there are things that you can do to avoid medication. Basically, you guys know that we're a holistic show, people, business, and I think it's easy for people just to go to grab Claritin or what is it, an antihistamine. Obviously, not really a. I don't know a ton about that stuff because we try not to use them. In most cases, when you do use that kind of stuff, there are side effects, and often there's long-term risk. So that's something that we try to avoid. So some of these tips here, all of these tips are going to give you some ideas on some of the other things that you can do. But one of the things is, this kind of sounds funny, and I know it's really hard. That's what frustrates me about summertime in Alberta. And like they have poplar trees everywhere here, at least in Olds. They have them everywhere. They have them in, maybe there's just an Alberta thing. I don't know if you guys are listening from outside of province or outside of country. Maybe let me know if you guys have poplar trees too. But the poplar trees are crazy. Like I see they're in Calgary, they're in Banff. You can't get away from them, and they just release this fluff and fuzz. It looks like some days it looks like it's snowing with all this stuff, and it bothers a lot of people, myself included. So there's some things that you can do, and this is difficult because winters are so long and summers are so short. So you don't want to make your shorten your time outside, but spending less time outside, unfortunately, is one of the things that you can do. You don't need to never go outside. That's not what I'm saying. Of course, we need to get outside, and the more time we spend outside, the better. But there are better times of the day and better times of the year you could spend time outside. And so one of the things that I do is I look at the weather report, and I didn't even know this. I didn't know that there was a you can actually there's a, I don't know what it's called, like a pollen chart or a pollen graph. You can actually they actually tell you if it's a high pollen day or if it's a low pollen day, and then it's like the weather. Then they'll forecast the week and tell you what it's probably going to be. And if it's super high, then I try to avoid staying outside. But you can definitely you can look. It's just like the weather forecast, and I'm sure it's not perfect, just like the weather forecast. But if it's going to be like it's one of those days where it's super high, then maybe you spend less time outside. And no, it's difficult. Where like the kids always want to be outside, or it's summertime, or the kids aren't even in school, for example, and everyone wants to be outside. But it's really difficult dealing with those allergies at times. And that's one of the things that you can do. So the pollen gets in your clothing. So if we know we're going to spend some time outside, and especially if it's a high pollen day, we will throw our clothes, when we get back inside, we throw our clothes straight into the wash machine. And again, I know that might be a bit challenging if you have kids or if you're always outside and you feel like you're always washing clothes, but that's just again a small tip that has helped us in the past. Because if you're outside and like you want to like you need a little bit of relief, I don't know if you guys are like super allergic. Some people are much more allergic than others. For us, like some summers are worse than others. We often spend summertime in Los Angeles, which we're super fortunate to do and grateful for. But some summers that we've been here in Alberta in the past has been really challenging because I'm sure if anyone has allergies, you know what it's like. Your nose is constantly running, and your eyes, like you feel like you want to pull your eyeballs out and scratch the back of them and pop them back in your head. There's a lot of different things that we deal with or we struggle with when it comes to allergies, and everyone deals with them at different levels. Like I'm saying, that some people have more challenge than others, but if you put all these little tips together, hopefully it can help you find some relief. So the pollen's outside, and one of the other things is keeping your windows closed when it's high pollen, either high pollen season, like it could be that day, weekend, or week, but keeping your windows closed. And again, I know we like fresh air. The pollen seems like in the mornings, the pollen seems to be much easier to deal with, or maybe not even there. Like I don't really notice it in the morning. So I open the doors and all the windows in the morning. And you know what things like closing the windows is it also keeps the heat out. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's so hot, and they keep their windows open all the time. They keep their blinds open. Well, if you have your windows closed and your blinds shut, it actually keeps the heat out, so your house is cooler. So running diffusers in the house is the tip I want to tell you about it. Using essential oils. One of the things that we did was spray our sheets with certain essential oils. I know basil is really nice to help with essential oils. So just getting a little spray bottle and spraying your sheets to make sure that you can get rid of that pollen. Washing your sheets a little bit more often. We try to wash our sheets once a week. I don't know how often is recommended, how often you're supposed to. And then what I wanted to tell you about this little thing. This is just a little inhaler, and I really like it. I put peppermint in there, and you just go like this. That's it. But you know what? It sounds funny, but one of the things that, like, if one of the things that I really try to avoid, especially during allergy season, is during seasonal allergy season, is sneezing. And I don't know like what happens chemically, but I feel like right now my like nasals, like they're sealed, not like plugged, but sealed, and my nose isn't running. But when allergies come in, and I start to deal with seasonal allergies, my nose like runs on a regular basis. And and I feel like once I sneeze, that like opens up the gates, or it almost like gives my, I don't know what they're called, nasal ducts permission to start running. And so what I really try to do is not sneeze. Every time I feel a sneeze coming, I just plug my nose and hold it till it goes away, or I use this. When it's not allergy season, I put this by the bed, and I usually use it in the before bed, just to clear my nasals out so I can breathe properly throughout the night. And then I use it in the morning. In the morning, it kind of feel like it gives me like a little pick me up, kind of wakes me up a little bit, which sounds funny, using it right before bed, but it doesn't keep me up. But so carrying a little inhaler with you, like anytime I feel like a little itch coming, or if I feel a sneeze, or if I know that things aren't like the air isn't so clear, like you can actually see the pollen flying in the air if you look for it. So if I know that's coming, then I carry this little this little inhaler, and that seems to really help. We have to take our control of our own health, regardless. And it's nice to have a family doctor. It's nice to have physicians, without question. But we got to take our health into our own hands, and we have to do that research, and we have to read. We have to read about they like. I feel like sometimes doctors know what the pharmaceutical companies tell them. So going out of your way to do a bit more research and seeing what other people have dealt with, and I think that would be beneficial, because obviously the companies that are providing the meds, they're not always going to be 100% transparent.